Blake Lively is a name fans once associated with red carpet glamour, quick-witted interviews, and a seemingly perfect Hollywood marriage. But behind the scenes, a swirling storm of accusations and denials has erupted, suggesting something far more dramatic, and possibly much darker, than her polished exterior ever hinted. Could it be that she orchestrated the biggest power play of her career? Or is she an innocent star caught in a twisted web of rumors and betrayal? You're about to hear every jarring detail. It all started with what seemed like a simple disagreement between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, the actor-director behind a high-profile film project they both worked on. At first, no one suspected the conflict would explode into a full-scale legal saga. Yet, as soon as journalists noticed tensions during their interviews, the rumor mill cranked into overdrive. Next thing we knew, Megyn Kelly, a well-known media figure, stepped in, dropping hints that Blake was hiding major secrets and stretching the truth to spin a particular narrative. Speculation ran wild. Many fans and commentators wondered why two stars who had spoken so highly of one another during pre-production suddenly became bitter rivals. Then, leaked text messages started painting a very different picture of Blake from the one she so carefully curated. The drama escalated to lawsuits, PR battles, and behind-the-scenes claims of manipulation that shook everyone who once admired Blake's impeccable public image. But the seeds of Blake's current turmoil might have been planted well before this fallout. As soon as footage from her new movie promotion started popping up, a wave of internet sleuths resurrected older interviews, clips in which Blake's demeanor was anything but charming. Some fans found her remarks dismissive, even condescending, especially when she was asked personal questions. Others criticized the way she allegedly dominated conversations, making every anecdote revolve around her own experiences. In one instance, people brought up an interview snippet where the host asked about her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Instead of sharing a sweet moment or funny story, she quickly shifted the topic to a personal venture, leaving viewers baffled and uneasy. Another interview had her brushing off serious, sensitive themes from the film she was promoting, almost joking about it. For fans who once adored Blake for her perceived humility, the sudden harshness and me-first attitude felt like a betrayal, enough to raise eyebrows about who she truly is when the cameras aren't rolling. This wave of negative press caught Blake off guard, pushing her into crisis mode. She soon pointed a finger at Justin Baldoni and his PR team, suggesting they'd systematically planted those negative stories to tarnish her image. Blake's approach grew even more aggressive when she seemed to have the backing of powerful figures like Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, leading many to suspect a concerted effort to shift blame away from her. This is where it gets particularly eerie. Multiple sources allege that this controversy wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction from Blake over bad publicity. Instead, they claim it was the culmination of a cunning plan she'd been forming for months, maybe even longer. Early on, Blake reportedly aimed to take full creative control of the movie, a project that originally belonged to Justin Baldoni, both as lead actor and director. Yet, rumors suggest Blake wanted to overshadow her directorial credit by crafting her own secret edit of the film. Not only did she push to see daily cuts of every scene, but she also lobbied to have her personal version of the movie become the official one. And here's where her inner circle allegedly stepped in. Ryan Reynolds, along with close friend Taylor Swift, might have exerted pressure on producers to support Blake's unconventional maneuver. Whispers spread that she even threatened to boycott the film's promotional circuit if her terms weren't met. This approach created rifts on set. People behind the camera began to feel cornered by an A-lister who seemed ready to use her star power, social media following, and personal alliances to get exactly what she wanted. By the time Justin realized what was happening, he was not only losing a creative stake in his film, but also being publicly vilified by someone who claimed to be the victim of his tyrannical leadership. If all this sounds vaguely familiar, it's because watchers have drawn parallels to the high-profile Johnny Depp-Amber Heard saga. In that headline-grabbing drama, Amber accused Johnny of severe misconduct, leading to a massive courtroom showdown and a swirl of manipulated narratives in the press. In Blake's case, she fired off her own set of allegations in a New York Times piece, painting Justin as a monster and insisting she'd been systematically targeted. Much like the Depp-Heard fiasco, texts and audio clips soon surfaced that painted a conflicting picture, one in which Blake herself might have been the aggressor. It's no surprise, then, that people have started calling Blake the new Amber Heard, albeit with a Hollywood sunshine twist. Even Amber Heard herself reportedly chimed in with apparent support for Blake, perhaps seeing echoes of her own situation. But as we all know, the Heard-Depp trial ended in a way few could have predicted at the start, with extensive evidence revealing some unflattering truths. Observers can't help but wonder if Blake's story is headed down the same road. The real shocker in this feud is the endless trail of contradictory evidence, audio clips, text messages, and behind-the-scenes footage that keep leaking, each more bewildering than the last. For example, one of Blake's biggest complaints was that Justin invaded her trailer uninvited while she was in a vulnerable state. But leaked text messages suggest she actually invited him in, jokingly referencing that she was feeding her newborn. In one text, she explicitly tells him to come by the trailer, then later cites that very visit as an act of overstepping. Then there's the claim that she was fat-shamed. She accused Justin of making cruel remarks about her weight after childbirth. Yet more leaked messages depict the exact opposite. Apparently, Justin needed to confirm her weight so he could safely perform a specific scene involving lifting her, something vital for choreography and personal health. Far from ridiculing her, Justin was documented offering supportive words, expressing admiration for how incredible she looked after her pregnancy. Another major thread in the lawsuit referenced a moment where producers allegedly showed Blake inappropriate graphic footage, which she later labeled extremely disturbing. However, sources clarify that the clip in question was a childbirth scene belonging to the lead producer's own wife, meant to provide a realistic reference for a storyline about giving birth on screen. By all accounts, the footage wasn't R-rated or salacious. It was an artistic representation of a life moment. Even more puzzling is that early emails suggest Blake herself wanted the scene to feel raw and authentic, prompting the producer to share an example. And then there's the fiasco of the intimacy coordinator. Blake filed statements indicating there was none on set, with Justin improvising physical closeness that made her uncomfortable. Yet, in older interviews, she gleefully mentioned how they did hire an intimacy coordinator for certain scenes, and how she ended up taking the reins anyway, guiding Justin on how to handle romantic shots. Actual behind-the-scenes clips have surfaced, showing her instructing Justin, with both actors laughing and discussing their spouses in between takes. Everything in these leaked records paints a picture where Blake was not only consenting to many of these moments, but actively guiding them. Critics argue that her lawsuit picks specific interactions and frames them in the worst possible light, leaving out crucial context or directly contradicting her own texts. After letting the New York Times run her side of the story, along with a scathing pile of allegations, Blake now appears to be trying to muzzle any further leak. Multiple sources note that her legal team pursued a gag order, desperate to prevent Justin or his lawyers from sharing any more incriminating texts or footage. From an outside perspective, it's easy to see why. Each new leak seems to bolster Justin's position, showing that Blake's version of events might be carefully curated. For many onlookers, this is the ultimate irony. Blake opened the floodgates by accusing Justin of manipulative behavior, and then painting him as some unstoppable force determined to destroy her. Yet now that Justin is armed with a legal team and piling evidence to defend himself, Blake wants to shut down the conversation. If her claims were straightforward and airtight, why silence the person who could either confirm them or reveal more truths? That question lingers, fueling ongoing debates across social media and celebrity news outlets. So, where does the truth lie in this tangled mess? Has Blake Lively devised an elaborate strategy to seize control of a film and salvage her reputation at the expense of her co-star and director? Or is she genuinely a victim who stumbled into a shark tank and realized too late she was in over her head? The conflicting evidence, contradictory text messages, and suspicious timing of her allegations leave fans and critics alike in a frenzy of confusion. All we know for certain is that both lawsuits, hers and Justin Baldoni's countersuit, are brimming with claims that seem more explosive with every new leak. As the drama continues to unfold, new details might emerge that shift the narrative again, possibly unveiling a Hollywood scandal more extensive than anyone ever anticipated. Celebrity watchers can't help but recall how the Amber Heard saga escalated into a monumental trial that changed both public perception and the careers involved. Will the same happen here? For now, The biggest question is whether any party will manage to lock down the truth under legal orders, or if the public will eventually get the unfiltered version. In a sea of he said, she said, anything is possible. But one thing's for sure, Blake Lively's pristine image has taken a serious hit. The question is whether she can recover, especially if her dragons no longer offer the shield she once believed they could. Thanks for tuning in. Keep your eyes peeled for the next wave of bombshell evidence, because in Hollywood, the most shocking twists often appear when you least expect them. If you're eager for more up-to-the-minute breakdowns of celebrity feuds, be sure to hang around. You won't want to miss what happens next in this ever-evolving saga.